What's happening, Brighton? The short answer is a lot. The long answer is this podcast. What's Up, Brighton is a show dedicated to the community we all love.
Hosted by Roger Burnett, Eric Meldrum, and Coach Mark Howell, this podcast will feature news, issues, and discussions impacting Livingston County and celebrate the people who make our slice of Michigan go and grow. This is What's Up, Brighton. So guys, have you gotten your commission checks from all of the places that are paying us to be featured on the page?
Not yet.
It's really
It's
like
in the mail.
I'm telling you, the
I kind of did get a free mail the other day. So
avalanche of money, just like, oh, what's up, Brighton? Hey, I'm Roger. There's Eric over here as the coach. And welcome to episode 8
Yes.
of the What's Up Brighton podcast. In this episode, as always, we're going to feature the segments that are found now on our beautiful tumblers.
Oh,
hey-o.
let's go.
Commission checks include tumblers from Michelle Cousineau at Engrave It All USA.
These are awesome.
I never thought I could be more excited about a tumbler.
Right?
Like, I'm usually like another tumbler, like this tumbler.
But this tumbler, though, so product placement, ladies and gentlemen. So what's up, guys?
What's up, man? How's it going?
How we feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like kind of spicy today.
Oh,
Spice.
whoa.
All right.
I like it. Let's fire them up. Yeah.
We're already on like low boil coming into this one, not on simmer. We might be on a low boil.
Low boil. Low boil.
We just threw it on number
Low
9.
boil?
Should we turn up to 9?
I'll crank it up a little bit. Let's go. Let's go.
We'll heat on the
Fire
stove.
up the Blackstone. Yeah.
Hey. Well, I mean, then that certainly leads us to our one word, then, doesn't it?
Oh.
So I'm going to come around the corner here to Coach and have him throw us his one word for.
I mean, mine's not spicy. Mine's more like heartfelt. Mine's connected. Mine's
Connected.
connected today.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm feeling connected with people. I'm feeling connected with their stories, their successes, empathetic with their struggles, the community, a little bit of everything. So connected is that's what I'm feeling today.
My man is feeling connected.
Yeah, I'm feeling connected.
Connected. I feel like milestone is mine. So milestone. There's been a lot of milestones surrounding like things that are happening. And I feel like just like these chasms keep getting crossed, and maybe they're a goal or a milestone that you set for yourself. But I just see like a lot of people just breaking through these barriers. So milestones are on.
Chasm. Good word. Chasm.
I told you I was spicy today.
I know.
I told you.
Jeez.
Not to mention milestone, our first guest last show.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? So crossed a milestone there. That was fun.
Yep.
It was awesome having Ken.
It was so well received that we don't have another guest yet, but
Empty. Womp, womp.
my one word is adventure.
Oh.
Adventure. I feel like the page has been a bit of an adventure lately, and we're about to talk about some adventure.
Let's go.
So we've
It's an
got
adventure every day.
Right?
We've got connected. We've got
Milestone
and adventure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, in keeping with milestone adventures that connect us to the community, let's turn our attention to I don't know that I could do that. That's a test going forward. Can I somehow weave those together?
Yes.
The one word
That was
into
well
a
done.
transition.
That was well done. I'm
I
impressed.
got faith. You
Yeah,
can do it.
you could do it. You could find a way.
It's why I make the medium bucks.
Just tumblers.
That's right. That's right.
That's why I make the tumblers.
Commission payments from sponsors on the show, as it were. So let's talk about that a little bit, shall we? We're not going to rip any headlines from the page this time. We're just going to get right to something that might have us feeling a little spicy at the moment. It might have us in a little bit of a low boil.
Break the seal. What's on your mind, Roger?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'd been warned in the past that maybe when you are responsible for a large group of people, that eventually you become the target of the ire of the members of the community, and oftentimes it's very misguided.
I think it's a good summarization.
I believe that this is one of those moments. And we had a bit of an adventure in the past week where it may have been suggested to we three and maybe even some other pages on social media
Say more.
us we three on the page are playing favorites or being paid to decide if post A gets posted and post B does not.
I think that they target it towards admins, and I'm just a moderator, so it's just at you two.
Oh, we want to. You're so pure. We don't want to tarnish you.
I like it. Thank you.
They look at Mark's page and they're like, should I message Mark? Wait, why is he helping so many people in need? I can't say that to him.
I'll just target these two guys.
Yeah. So we'll get right to it. So, ladies and gentlemen, members of the listening community, those of you who are in that very large Brighton, Michigan happenings community, I will never not let somebody tell their story, ever. But as we said last week, if you want to run an ad, that gets no engagement.
Yeah.
It brings out the bots. It makes our lives miserable. I don't know why you would think that you'd want it. And this particular person was trying to present an argument that suggested that that wasn't what was actually happening and that all of their efforts, which were blatant attempts to actually advertise, were following the standards of everything else that they saw on the page. So clearly, because case A was approved, then surely case B should also be approved. What say you?
Well, I think, case A could have been from 2021, 2022, 2020. Like, I don't know. Like, people go back and look at stuff that's been on the page, and I've not done a great job of, like, always saying no to everything or yes to everything. You know, like, occasionally there's some things that slip through because I'm doing it at 11 o'clock at night. It's like boom, 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 you know? And so I don't really know, like, what they're comparing to, because they never give examples. All right, they just reach out in a fury of rage, you know, and blow up your inbox and say, I'm better than this. Let my post through.
Yeah.
And you suck. I'm like, oh, you've hurt my feelings. I don't know. I don't know how to approach that, you know, other than there are standards, right? And it's no advertising. Plain and simple.
There you go. No advertising.
No advertising.
All right.
Like, tell us a story. You know, like, let's make it engaging. Like, everyone has a good story to tell. Like, share a little story. I don't know. Like, who are you? Like you've said multiple times. Like, tell us who you are. Buy yourself a little bit of grace. I don't know.
And you, if you watch, people are starting to get it. Like, let's not make it about what you do. Let's make it about who you are.
Yeah.
And suddenly what you do is going to be more important to the people than if they don't know who you are. And we're getting there. It's starting to move in that direction. But, like, let's not be antagonistic. I want nothing better than everybody's story to be told. And I'm the first person here. Like, I'm your chief storyteller. Come to Uncle Raj. I'm going to give you every chance to learn how to do it in a way that's probably going to get you more business. And if you just run your buy one, get 27 free, like
we should run it. I've thought about this, right? Like this has told me everything I need to know is that businesses are terrible. Well, solopreneurs are terrible marketers, right? Small businesses are terrible marketers, right? At the end of the day. And that's what the confusion is like, I want to get the word out, but we don't know the difference between storytelling and just an ad.
Right.
An ad is something that you flip through the newspaper and there's a 15% off, you know, the sale or flash in the pan sale, like whatever it is, right? It's get you in the door. Maybe you'll buy some more stuff, right? It's the lost leader type mentality. You should run a clinic or a boot camp on storytelling.
Yep.
All right. There's so many businesses here that struggle with that. And even some local businesses who, or let me phrase this the right way. There's some businesses that can support with marketing, right, that still miss the mark on storytelling, right? And that's the big thing. Like, you want to get on social media, you want to start telling your story to get people to know you, then there's a recipe for it. And I think you're you're great at it. So we found Roger his new business venture.
There you go.
Yeah, you're welcome.
To
You're
my
welcome,
right
Roger.
is a gentleman that is in a crowded and difficult, noisy marketplace that not only is he competing with other nonprofits who also have amazing stories of the work that they do in the community, he's competing with, I'm going to go to the movies, so I don't have money for Mark. I'm going to take my kids to Kensington, so I don't have money for Mark. I have a million different ways I can spend my money on anything I choose, no matter what it is any of us do. So if you don't have a reason why somebody would do that with you over anybody else, and you think you're going to come here and because you put an ad on a page, it's going to change whether or not somebody's going to do business with you. The Shamrock Lounge is getting what they're getting because they have square pizza and nobody else in town does, where you can sit down. That's why everybody is talking about it, not because we're getting paid. So if you're
I didn't get a pizza. Did you get a
duct
I didn't get a free
cleaning,
pizza. I don't even think Shamrock
car,
is posted
whatever
about their
you
business.
have, whatever you have, if it's not the square pizza, then why is somebody going to buy it? Okay, period. So don't get mad at us because you didn't get your chance to piss off 38,000 people all at the same time. Because in reality, what I did is I saved you from making 38,000 people mad at what you just did.
It's a great point.
Well, you know, I think there was a post.
Calm down now.
Rant. Oh,
Get Roger all riled up.
He's sitting on a box.
He's not even able to drink in a 75.
I know. That's what all the grumpiness is coming from.
You know, I think there was a guy. I can't remember his name. If I remember his name, I'll give him credit because I thought it was very well said, and it was surrounding the type of businesses that are in here. And there was a post about banks and like, you know, why do we need another bank? And he said, listen, the community is going to vote with their checkbook. All right. The community is going to vote with the dollars they spend in the community. And one of the things I see on the group a lot is Facebook does a really good job at promoting posts and feeding it to more people once there's engagement.
Yes.
Okay? Yes. And what's clearly a pattern is that those type of ads and posts that are clearly a cry for business, they do not get any engagement in the group. So that's not us saying don't do it. It's the community saying we don't really care about that. Yeah. Plain and simple, right? Just like if a business opens up downtown, the city's not going to tell them they can't open up or not. Nobody's going to say you can open up or not. That business will survive based on community going and shopping there because they find that business attractive, of value, a good service, or whatever. They have good products, right? It's a good restaurant. They will close if they do not live up to the service, the product, or the level of experience that this community thinks that they deserve from it. Plain and simple.
So you have to be challenged with this exact same problem, both as a consumer, but also as you're fighting for dollars.
Sure.
To do the work that you believe in with all of your heart.
Yes.
How does one differentiate between something so emotional?
I think you have to connect. You have to connect the people with the value and the impact that they can make through doing something and taking action, right? So if they, take $20 of their money and they, put that in with an organization, a nonprofit organization that can make a local impact, that can help their neighbor, and that connects them somehow to a story that resonates with them, that makes them feel good, that makes them want to do it more, and that, that gets their fuel fired up, and same thing with if they want to go into a retail store and they want to spend their money with something that they are really passionate about, it does the same thing, but if you're, if you're just another, like you guys have just said, just another ad and just something that's just trying to get their money, but they're not familiar with it and they're not comfortable with it. They don't understand what the value is. You have to build that value proposition first. You have to storytell. You have to connect. You have to do all of those things well before someone actually sees the value in spending their money and their resources that they've worked so hard for with you, with your organization, with your product, whatever that is. Because we're fortunate in that we live in a community where there are so many great resources with almost everything, right? I mean, even look around the table at the three of us and what we have done. There are, dozens of other resources they could go to in our three worlds if they wanted to. So it's what sets you apart, what differentiates you, what value you're going to bring your clients, your partners, your people, your connections. And that's what people need to focus in on that a little bit more, and then the customers, the business, the success will follow.
I got an example of that. So, you know how when you check out at a store, they ask you, hey, there's a nonprofit that you can donate your change to. Hey, would you like to donate so and so to so and so? 99% of the time, I would just say no, right? But if there is a bucket or something on the counter at a local business that I know is a local charity, I will give to that 100% of the time. I will take my change, or I'll reach in my pocket, see if I have any cash, and I'll put in there. All right. I was just at Captain's, and I think a great example of that is Vet Life around here locally. They do a military boot, right? And it's a really cool staple. Like, they put it on the counter, and I see that, I'm like, oh yeah, I know that organization. I know the people who run it. I know what they stand for. I know where the money's going. Deposit.
Versus maybe fill in the blank national XYZ organization. And you're like, I don't know what they're doing.
But if Vet Life did that and they went with all the businesses and they said, hey, just round up at the change and like let people know it's for Vet Life, I would probably hear that and be like, if I didn't put two and two together, I have that visual,
awesome
thing to say that's local, right? Because somebody's coming and picking that money up.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. It's just different for me.
Way more personal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Way more personal. Well, just to put a bow on this, what we just talked about is what makes the Brighton, Michigan Happenings Facebook community valuable. We've created an environment where the people who come to the page get value for their visit in a way that they've clearly demonstrated that they will forget every other place, Google, to find answers to things, because they've become to rely on this group of people for answers to things even more so than they would the world's biggest search engine.
Yeah.
Because it's from the people that live to their left and live to their right, who will tell them what they think. And it's only because the environment has been created in a way to provide that value that is the difference between us still being a great page, approaching 40,000 people, and it being a page that people just quit.
Yeah.
Or never come back to. So we'll bring it all back together at the end to say there's a reason behind the ways we do the things we do. And hopefully you're seeing the value, all of you, in our attempts to actually provide that value to you. Rant.
Well, so rant over, but I always try to find the silver lining in this. And I was actually talking to Ken before our last show, and I said this to him. I said, look, the reason we are so steadfast on the things we do and the way we approach it is not because we have any other ulterior motives other than providing value. Okay. But 80% of the people who live in this community, talking to everybody here, right? And you and I, everybody's talked about this separately. 80% of the people who are normal people in life and I could sit down and have a beer with would never be on social media saying the things that most of those people are saying, right? It is the exception to this community. The people who think they're entitled to something, they have this like weird thing in their brain that's like, I deserve this and I need this for my business. And no, that's not how the world works. Like no Facebook group, your business, if your business is reliant on the success or failure of the Brighton, Michigan Happenings group, I've got a rude awakening for you.
We just went to boiling mode.
You are on the precipice of failure already, okay? And you are in desperation mode. So do not bring that to this house. Like it's not gonna happen.
Don't bring that weak sauce up in here, Gina. Don't bring that weak sauce.
Roger put his rant on simmer, and then
I know.
Man,
you guys just woo.
Yeah.
All right.
But like no,
Love it.
All seriousness, like that is, we don't hear from the 80% of the people in this community because they know it's no way to conduct yourself.
Right.
That's like ridiculous. Like, go figure it out. Right. Go build your business block by block. All right. Go the hard way.
Grind
right?
it, man.
Grind it out like everybody else, and get on social media. Right. Get on all these other platforms, and like, if you think Brighton, Michigan Happenings is your social media outlet, like it's not. Like that's the difference, right? You got to get attention and tell stories somewhere else. So,
Clinic to follow.
we're going to take a quick break from a word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by the Oxford Center, where healing begins with a blend of compassion and innovation. The Oxford Center offers a ton of different treatments, ranging from hyperbaric oxygen therapy, autism services, physical therapy, speech therapy, and occupational therapy, and more. They've pioneered research behind a wide variety of treatments and conditions. They're located in the heart of our community, right here in Brighton. They believe in treating the whole person, not just the symptoms. Discover how they can support your journey in wellness. Visit theoxfordcenter.com or call 248-486-3636.
They got us thinking about our personal travel adventures, and come to find out, each of us have our own tale of woe to go along with our tales of amazing. But tales of amazing we can do anytime. So today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, today's segment is Travel Tales of Woe, as brought to you by me, I guess. Parktopia, my travel brand, our van. Follow us on Instagram. I don't know. Doesn't give me anything, but all right. Who wants to go first?
Cool story.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first because this is a
travel fail.
yeah. So big, such a big travel fail. And this was our attempt. And we were talking about this pre-show. Mark was like, "Yeah, you were like backpacking through Europe, and like that's what we thought we were gonna do." All right. So in college, I did a study abroad, and we went over to the Netherlands. It was a week in Italy, a week in Belgium, and the course was doing business in Europe. Okay, we were getting a flavor of like commerce in Europe, like all the things. So my college buddy and I, who booked the trip, said, "Hey, it'd be really cool to go over to the UK the week before, spend some time there, kind of like just wing it, right? Kind of looks like the backpack through Europe, but like the UK is not a backpack, type. Like we're going to London, bro. Like it's not."
We're gonna walk down 96, bro. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Except the cars are gonna be coming the wrong way, man.
Yeah. So like you frame it as college, right? We're in college, like we're doing this thing. Awesome. So so funny. Like we book our trip and we book the plane tickets. We fly into Heathrow and we have no accommodations. We don't have any place to stay. We're just going to wing it. It's going to be cool. Like we'll figure it out. So we take, if you've ever been to Heathrow, you fly into Heathrow and then you can take the underground from Heathrow into the city.
The tube.
Right. So we get there, imagine flying from like in the middle of the night, right? We wake up and it's dark, like complete darkness. We get off the plane, it's dark. And then we get into the underground, completely dark, can't see anything. And then we surface in Piccadilly Circus, right? Which is like the Times Square of London.
Yeah.
All right. And we are tired. We're jet lagged. We have a backpack and a suitcase each. All right. And we are in the busiest part of London. Cars are going the opposite direction of where we think they're going to come from. So we're trying to cross the street. Cars are like this. Everything's backwards. All right. So we're all discombobulated. And we go to our first hostel to check in. We like found it asked around, found on our phones, like go to the hostel. We don't have any rooms. Okay, on to the next one. Go to the next one. Yeah, we don't have any rooms. On to the seventh one.
Oh my.
And finally we got smart and was like, why do 6 in a row not have any rooms? Like what? We just thought like London was busy. What is going on? The guy looks at us and goes, do you guys really not know what's going on in like the most British accent, which I'm not going to attempt to do? He's like, you don't know what's going on? I'm like, no, I have no idea. He goes, it is Wimbledon this weekend.
Oh my!
The largest tennis tournament
All
in the whole entire world. And we just so happened to book our travel the same weekend as Wimbledon.
Lovely.
So we ended up paying. We finally got a hotel at a actual hotel, not a hostel, and it was a shoebox with 2 twin beds and just enough room for us to kind of like skirt through between the dresser and the beds. Like I'm not like leg room, like that's it. And my legs were twice the size that would have not fit. And we ended up paying like $500 US for that shoebox of a room in that city that night. So awesome. We went out. We had the best time of our lives in London that night. Another story, but best time of our lives in London. And then we just skirted out of the city. We went to like the countryside, the next day and just got a nice little Airbnb, hotel, hostel, whatever they call it over there. And then we just relaxed the whole rest of our trip to the UK. And then we went to our study abroad.
Moral of the story?
Check to see if there's large events at those locations you're traveling to.
Ladies and gentlemen, always have at least one Boy Scout in the group that might check in advance for other events. Mark, what say you, sir?
Oh man, when I was thinking about this question, I mean, I've got the typical, which probably any family can relate to, road trip gone wrong with kids, illnesses the whole trip, and then guests joining you, they all get sick, one by one you go down. But then I started thinking about it, and I think like logistically, the one story that stands out is a recent one, and that's my wife and I, we went to Ireland with 2 other couples this last November, and it was an epic trip, awesome trip. Everything was very simple, and the deal going into it was my brother-in-law was super generous and was like, hey, like I'm gonna take care of the accommodations there. We're gonna rent out a castle. It's gonna be freaking epic. I'm gonna pick up the flights. It's gonna be on my points. The only thing I need you to do is I'll pick up all that if you can take care of the rental car. I'm like, done. I got it. Rental car. Easy, right? So I'm like, sweet. So I've never been overseas anywhere before. So I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. So, I'm checking out the airport and I rent, the car through whatever airport we're flying through in I think it was Dublin, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. And it was like the whole thing all in. I even got like the, burn your car, smoke it off the freaking cliff insurance. You do whatever.
Thelma and Louise coverage.
It's Thelma and Louise coverage. Perfect, right? I get that coverage, and it's like all in. It's like $700, and I'm for a week, and I'm like, I feel pretty good about it. Like I don't know, like that's all the money we're gonna spend on this trip. Like I feel really good about it. So we get there, we land, everything's great. Go up. I'm at the desk, like, oh, here's our reservation. Okay, great. And she's like, okay, that'll be like $3,500, and I'm like, what? Like I booked this online. Like I already paid for it. It's like $700. She's like, oh yeah, that was without like the insurance, and we require insurance here and blah, blah, blah. And you have to do this fee and this fee and this fee. And that's just like an estimate that you saw. And I'm like, I'm getting scammed. Like I'm so getting scammed. And I'm like, well, I'm not doing that. Like
it's a pretty good estimate.
What? Yeah. I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, how about, all right, never mind. I'm not going to do the insurance. She goes, okay, well, we have a waiver here. It's $5,000 to waive the insurance. And I'm like, So wait a minute. So it's cheaper to get the insurance, and it's $5,000 to waive the insurance. And as I'm standing there looking at her, like my wife, like I run a nonprofit. We're not rolling in dough. I don't have like these high limit credit cards. So I'm sitting there, and in my brain, my wife's over in the corner, like hanging out. Everything's good. My brother-in-law's with me, and I'm sitting there processing. I'm like, I don't have a card in my wallet that will pay for either one of these fees. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm like, what the heck am I going to do? And so I kind of look at Ed and I'm like, dude, I can't afford either one of these. He's like, I got it. Like, here's the card, blah, blah. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. You can't do that. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, well, your name's on the reservation, so we can't just change the name. I'm like, well, just cancel my reservation and open his. Like, we can't do that. I'm like, I am getting scammed in Ireland.
What is happening right now?
And now it's like we're over a barrel. We're 2 hours away from our castle that we're excited to get to. And I'm looking, and I'm like, finally, I'm digging deep in my cards, and I find one. I'm like, I think this one will work. And I'm like, all right, let's just do this, And so we go with the insurance. The card goes through. I immediately walk over to Christina. I'm like, we're going to need some transfer some money ASAP because I know we don't have enough money in the account to cover that, but we just covered it. She's like, well, what'd you just do? I was like, we just spent $3,500. We spent basically whatever we had budgeted for this trip. We just exponentially increased it, and we just blew the whole thing. So Ed, please, thank you for your generosity.
So Christina,
you're now funding
you
our
have
trip.
shotgun for the whole trip.
Yeah, right.
You get the passenger seat,
and it was like, so we're opposite side of the road, we're opposite side of the car, and on top of all that stress, I'm driving, and it's now the car's insured, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Did I ever tell you about the time when I got married on a cruise ship? We left port on Sunday. The next time we were going to come into port was on Tuesday, our wedding day.
No.
Prior
Never heard the story.
to said cruise, I went for some dental work.
Oh dear.
In order to have the most beautiful, handsome smile possible for said wedding, only to then have my 2 temporary crown front teeth snap off.
Yes. Yes.
On the Sunday prior to us pulling into port on Tuesday for me to get married to my now wife. So I bit into the sourdough piece of bread. They snapped. I felt it. She was sitting next to me. God. She sensed my energy, looked at me and said, "What's the matter?" And I turned and gave her the to which 2 little yellow nubbins was all that was left.
Oh my God.
So
this is what you're marrying.
So in a panic, I hop up from the table, of which my entire family is sitting there. No one knows what's going on except for my wife. I get up. I'm hot footing. I'm in full sprint at this point, wanting to run back to my room because my whole world is over. No idea what I'm going to do. And this is the moment, ladies and gentlemen, when you're going to find out whether or not you're marrying the right person.
That's very, very true.
As she's behind me, trying to keep up with me in my frenetic, just panicked pace, she says, "Honey, it'll be fine. We'll just get some chiclets." Bink. Melissa and I will be celebrating our 20th wedding anniversary.
She was a
May,
keeper. We know it. Hey.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Shout out to Melissa.
Moral of the story is sometimes in moments of peril, you find out exactly who it is that you have in your corner. Ladies and gentlemen.
That's
so
awesome.
for 2 full days, I had to be Mr. Wilson.
That's so great.
And talk behind all sorts of things until we were able to get to St. Thomas. And then the whole story of what happened next is the next installment of Travel Fails.
You have international.
Tune into episode 9 for
international
2.
veneers.
We legit could do this segment for like 6 months, and I would
like
never
it.
run out of stories.
Okay, good.
So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. So if you enjoyed just that little segment of the story, let us know, because we've got plenty more where that came from. But in the meantime,
fantastic.
I can't wait to see how the coach is going to bring the huddle up segment now into what we're gonna so coach, what do you got here, buddy?
I had something written down, and now I'm like, this doesn't really fit with the segment at all. I mean, it's not really any good way to segue into this, but I'm gonna give it a whirl. So I've got a quote that I want to kind of formulate around it, right? And it's about helping others. It's about coming around them. So kind of, right? We're kind of there. And the quote is, "There's no exercise better for the heart than reaching down and lifting people up." And I think that quote resonates in so many different moments of when we're struggling on our own and we have obstacles in front of us. And Roger, to your story. And I think that, like a great way to get through our own obstacles sometimes, right? The best medicine for those obstacles is to pour into someone else, right? Sometimes we don't know what direction we should take. And although it's very difficult to pour from an empty pitcher, to pour from an empty bucket into other things that take a lot of energy, that take a lot of heart, a lot of times we don't know what to do to fill that bucket back up. And a temporary fix, and the best fix sometimes, is just to feel whole again. And the best way to do that is to pour into someone else who's hurting, who is experiencing pain, who has nowhere else to turn as well. Because it reminds you what it's like to be human. It reminds you what it's like to feel that love, to feel whole, to be complete. And by filling someone else's bucket, it fuels our soul in so many different healthy ways. And it can help us navigate those trying circumstances and really just sometimes we just find ourselves through that journey of helping someone else, coming along someone else in their journey. We learn a lot about ourselves. We learn a lot about how to navigate that trial, that tribulation. And so although today's message does not segue at all with today's spirit of the of the episode, that is the Huddle Up segment from Coach Mark.
I think it is actually sort of a nice compliment, especially for when we start out with a rant that suggests that maybe there were people who aren't necessarily in tune with your message.
There you go.
Yeah.
And maybe
And that's the
they would
connection.
be good to be reminded of what it was you had to say there, sir.
There you go. I like that. That makes me feel better because I was feeling a little lost there myself. Like, I don't know how that's going to resonate today.
A little off kilter, but I think that's right. I think that people should actually seek to maybe pour into somebody else.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of just thinking about like, hey, how can I get the most out of this situation?
Yeah.
Right. At the moment. And so my final thought, like I love the stories of travel, and like I was imagining Mark being in this like, 2-person like smart car. We have like 5 people that like we're trying to cover, and then Roger like running into St. Thomas and like getting more bad dental work done. Like I think that's the next thing that's coming, and like
it's a great story. Honest to God, you guys love it.
And I'm just thinking back to my trip, overseas and traveling, and just having this like blind faith, right? That like everything would work out. All right. And that's really like Mark and Christina, like, we didn't really have that, but like, hey, blind faith, like this experience is going to be worth it. Right. And now he's sitting here talking about it. Like, obviously everything's fine. Right.
You made it.
Yeah. He's actually still paying
Spoiler alert.
But other than that, it was great.
Everything's great. So it just reminds me today of like, we all go through rough times, right? We all go through, these trying moments, and how we react to that is ultimately what shapes, the relationships around us, what shapes how you overcome things, mentally, and break through those limiting beliefs or things that you might be going through. But it always shows, like in the most desperate times, in the most trying times in your life, how you react to situations says a lot about you, right, as a person. And, I'm looking at people around my life, and I've gotten rid of some relationships, right, because stress hit and things happened, and I actually saw who those people were. Mm-hmm. And it was like, I don't think this is serving, the relationship aspect, and it's time to cut ties with those things. So, putting chapters behind you, opening up new chapters in your life, and looking at the bright side of things, is really, I think, the most promising thing, that this group has ahead of us, right? There's so many changes that have happened in Brighton over the course of the last 3 years. So many new things that are going to come, right? We talked about it last show of like Brighton's growing. Mm-hmm. Right. The city's growing. Where are the new businesses going to go? What's the next, district that's going to get built out? Is it always going to be downtown? Well, I think there's some real estate on Grand River, right, that is ripe for new developments. That there's some pretty tired buildings. They're like, hey, this needs to be changed over, right? It's like just looking at this from an optimistic point of view. Like, yeah, our sleepy little town might be growing and getting a little bit more awake, but there's always a story in there, and we're dedicated to pulling those stories out. So, I'm laughing in my head about, Mark's story, your story, and I can't wait to hear more about it. But, I think as a community and as a team, like we got some amazing, things ahead, and I just can't wait to see what this next chapter brings.
Yeah. Yeah. And the teeth all worked out, ladies and gentlemen. It's fine. More to come. So that's it. That's all. That's everything. That was fun, guys. That was fun. So as always, if you haven't yet subscribed, what's up? Let's go. Subscribe, please, right now. Share the show. There's things about travel fails that people would like to know about. If you have a travel fail that you'd like to share with us, we're loving to hear any of those that you might want to share. And show topics, as always, we're always looking for those. So if you have something you want us to dive into, feel free to let us know. But until next time, this is Roger signing out.